It's lovely to be here, as usual.
I cannot tell you how grateful I am that you feel that way about being here.
So today is the 15th day of February, 2025. And I'm not sure what time it is. I would guess that it's about 11 o'clock in the morning.
11:15.
Okay.
John Deere's on the floor there by his, but you can't see that by the other one up there.
So what I'm hoping to do here, before we get into the rather tedious paperwork, is talk about the program, curriculum, the work that I'm doing and starting to promulgate.
I need you to know I really thoroughly enjoyed seeing you with, what was his name? Frank. You told your story, your life story. You just interviewed him a few days ago.
Oh,
Eric? Not Eric, not Frank. Anyway, he's out there in Ohio or somewhere.
yeah,
Beautiful guy.
yeah.
Thank you. That I could see that. I got to learn a lot about you. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, let me just reflect for a moment on that conversation. So I've had a lot of conversations in the last week, and I just want to remember that one a little bit. Yeah, Nicholas. Yep. Yeah, he's a super joyful fellow, it seems. I haven't met him in person yet. I fully expect to meet him in person probably pretty soon. So what was it that, what did you learn? What did you learn? Is there anything left to learn about me? How do you learn anything about me?
Well,
That's so
from
funny.
from where you live and yourself, you said what you did, and what you were thinking, and along the way, you know, how we do this in life, and how that shifted, and the part about, which I think really is really positive, but anyway, the part about where you got to be on your own in a position to truly blossom out. That was when you're not part of a regular human family, or there isn't even such a thing as that, but anyway, whatever. So but mainly it wasn't, that was, wow, just how you worded that, and yeah, obviously how that was, and then how you just traveled along, however you said it was, but I got to see the whole, connected line, and how you were thinking. I never got to see that before. I mean, like, what about, all about me from my, before you met me?
Good point. Not really. Yeah.
So your other conversations, were they like kind of similar with, just like with him, he's really wanting to open up and understand and incorporate the play, whatever, let's just use the word, the play, EMP, evolve, move, play. So that's what I got. He wanted to hear what you had to say, and then he could embellish himself more, and then get to know each other more and stuff. But is that it? He's just kind of, how long has he been in looking at this stuff? Specifically the EMP.
I don't remember exactly. I mean, it's been so there's a poem that I wish I had it with me right now.
A poem?
Yeah, there's a particular poem about a thread. And the gist of it is that we follow a thread through life. And it's obviously leading you somewhere. But other people can't really see it often.
No.
And sometimes it's difficult to detect, even yourself. You know, if you're holding a thread, if you're following a thread through darkness, for example.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where's this going? But you have to talk about it. You have to explain it to some extent. Like other people are around you and they're wondering what you're doing and why you're going the way that you're going. And what are you up to? Can you explain this thing to me?
Wow. Yeah.
And you can't. But you have to try. You have to, it seems, talk about it. So the questions about EMP specifically, the experiences are so deep and so rich and so carefully crafted, you can't explain. And when you actually started to follow that thread, so to speak, it's not exactly clear. So just like you said, you pointed out that I don't really know you.
Well, you don't know, like I didn't know what I got to see there in that. But yeah, but you've never heard me talk about my life and what went where and how it got turned here, and I was surprised at that. And
I've heard you talk about that a lot. But still, the point is that there's a whole bunch of stuff that you lived through. You had very deep embodied, or continue to have very deep embodied, rich moment-to-moment experience in life. It's lovely. It's deeply immersive. And anyway, I don't know, Nick. I would guess that direct attention to EMP. I hope I don't get in trouble with him, but I would guess that it was probably 3-4 years ago for him.
it was a long time.
Yeah, so it's like the different philosophical threads that you follow. You know, you kind of you start tugging on one and you follow it in, and then you notice that there's a constellation of, like, there's a cohort of other. We say things like minds.
And anyone that would have gone into, quote, consciousness beyond the human five senses perspective, anyone doing that is delving into the invisible and the it's not new, it's in us, but we haven't, for the most part, awakened it. And so, anyway, so anybody, so of course it'd be hard to explain to someone hasn't had that pull at all. And they're just starting to have it when they question you, I guess.
So it seems. So it seems. Yeah, I rewatched. So I interviewed Wes. You remember Wes?
Oh yeah, the man that you and he were talking, that one about.
Yeah, he was here. He was here, sat right there.
Oh, that okay.
So I think last September I interviewed him, and he and I were exploring the same dialogue.
Good. He had hurt his arm or something, and he's a Leo.
If you say so.
Well, he said so. I mean, he told me when his birthday was.
Okay, so what I want to do is talk a little bit about I want to do three things. The first thing that I want to do is talk about next Saturday. So there's a small cohort coming together over in Issaquah in a space that I have secured to hold a little workshop, little seminar.
Master number.
So that's the second iteration, so to speak, of the Crawford built adventure. So I did one in January here. You remember that? We were out here.
When I first met Nina? Or no?
Yep.
Yeah.
No.
Oh, okay. But anyway, you've come and gone and you've done whatever you did, so, okay.
Yep.
January. Okay.
So now it's February. Now I'm doing the second iteration. So the first iteration, the theme was breath. So that's January. Second iteration, the theme is comfort.
After you get over the pain and suffering.
I'm glad you can laugh about it.
Well, and when you said, I learned a lot about being flown off of motorcycles, I am so grateful. So grateful. I didn't know what the world was going on out there. I had an entirely different life than you and your dad and you all of that out there. Well, of course you would. I mean, that's how it is. But I just remember the Christmas when your dad bought the three-wheeler and said, "Go ahead, Courage." And no instruction, just get on there and tip over right away. You know, like remember
Get
that?
it over with.
I mean, he just I said, "What? This is." Oh, and now if I can just say, this chapter right now is a surprise to me, and it's not fun. And it's scary.
Yeah, I'll bet.
Yeah, and yeah. Yeah, well, we'll talk about other things. You know, we don't need to talk about that right on this. We're being recorded. Are we being visualized too?
Yep.
How do you visualize when it looks like it's on backwards? Oh, there's the mirror. No, that's the back of the chair. Oh, well, anyway, you don't have to explain. Next question. You're going to have people in Issaquah.
It is Issaquah, yeah. We'll see how it goes. We'll see how it goes. But that's an integration of, there's a very specific technique involved in that one, and there's a very skilled practitioner in the form of a lady named Summer Seats. So she is very graciously co-facilitating with me, and her particular, what she's bringing to it in particular is referred to as the heart math. You're familiar with that?
Enough, yeah.
Yeah. So the two of us are collaborating to integrate. The play is the easiest way to talk about it. I think you said that a little while ago. So evolve, move, play.
Well, that's EMP, isn't it?
Yes. So the play, so I'm doing my best to basically provide entry points for people, make it accessible so that So it's, like we said, it's difficult to talk about. It's difficult to describe. It's difficult to summarize. You can do a elevator pitch, but it'll never do it justice. But play is inherently attractive. You've probably noticed whenever I do anyway. I notice if I'm watching what's going on, and I notice that somebody's playing. Oh, there's a little bit of natural interest in that. So, and that opens up very rapidly into what we refer to as the ecology of practices.
Okay, hold on. The ecology of practices, the study of the practices. The derivation of the practices. Oh my goodness. Okay. Next Saturday. I get them all out of the way.
I just realized that you put it right in front of the microphone.
Oh. It's got fuzz on it. It grew a bit. How cute is that?
It's pretty cute.
Yeah. Did you get it? Did you make that up?
Nope. People have been playing with microphones for a long time now, and I guess they figured out that to quiet the wind noise, so any movement of the,
and to make a person laugh.
I suppose
A little critter in there.
Looks like a caterpillar.
Friendly little critter. Well, okay. So you're doing that next Saturday. From when to when?
9 to 1. Plus also, I've got the space for the whole afternoon into the evening as well. Welcome.
Oh, thank you.
You did it, and you're back.
I got a recording device running here.
13 loaves of bread. Oh my God.
You make bread pudding. So you've got stuff to make custard.
Well,
Look at that.
Yeah, is that in your way?
No. You guys got something going on, keep it up.
Yeah, so I've covered one of three things. That was one. I wonder if I can remember what the other two are. I know what the third one is. So I want to set up a teaser. So I want to introduce another session that's coming later in 2025, beyond February. So the themes of each of these they're based on particular texts, books. And I've got one here. That's going to be the third thing. So now I'm going to pause and see if I am able to remember what the second thing was that I wanted to cover with you.
hold on a second.
Yeah. So so what I want to talk a little bit about is the larger curriculum. So there's the texts that I have chosen or that have come to me to use as thematic material. They're nested within a much thematic thematic.
I heard you. Okay.
So what's the theme?
Yeah.
So that's akin to a thread. So the mind, that thinking part, wants to, it needs something to grab a hold of. So what do you give it? What is it? How do you give it something to grasp onto? And to me, that also functions in the sense that it provides a sense of safety. Because when you feel like you can hold, when you got a hold of something, when you can feel terra firma, so to speak, you inherently feel safer. I do anyway. I think probably everybody does. So if that's what we mean. We get a grip. Well, so in the abstract, get a grip, some system of ideas for the mind to grab
Yeah.
hold of and feel comfortable.
Yeah, now, can I ask something?
For sure.
Rafe,
Rafe.
has,
He's going to love the fact that you call him Raph.
oh good, well, I'll keep calling him Rafe then.
No.
You
Rafe,
won't
like,
laugh with wrath.
well, he's been talking about this, that he birthed this, right? He birthed
He
it.
founded it.
Oh, he put together things and,
Yeah.
Called it
very,
this.
very carefully put it together.
okay, now, so he's been doing what you're now about to set out in your own way. He's been doing this for years, right?
Yep.
Explaining what this is and
Yep.
to have people understand it. And you've gone through, you finished a year with him,
Not yet.
but you've pretty much covered all the, you've heard it all basically.
So the same principle applies. So one of the reasons that the ecology of practices is so deep and so rich, well, it's not a reason. It's a matter of fact. The ecology of practices is very deep and very rich. So what I've been doing is my best attempt to basically take a tour, carefully guided by Rafe, over the course of his life's work. Does that make sense? That's how I understand it. So it's a 48-week, I think, apprenticeship program. It's 12 hours a week is the expected attentional commitment, and it feels like it's just scratching the surface. So I just want to be really careful not to assert that I've got it all. What I have, it feels like, is a pretty decent overview with a whole bunch of explicit entry points into a deeper exploration of the ecology of practices that Evolve, Move, Play offers.
I wish I had that last sentence written down in front of me because,
I can give it to you. We've got it recorded. So if that's what you want, I'll just lift it out of the transcript and give it to you.
so that I would hear it somewhere or I would see it or
You'll see it.
I will see it. Oh wow. Okay, because I guess what I was wondering is you're setting up these presentations to explain what it is that you're drawn to do, namely, generally, the EMP ideas of evolution, consciousness evolution. That's the way I see this.
Okay.
So Rafe,
Thank you.
he likes, but I can. But
Are you finished eating?
I personally can, almost. But I guess I'm still like, okay, whatever he's been presenting all these years in his way, you'll do your twist on how to present in maybe a shorter, sweeter, more intense, short. I mean, compared to all the time you've spent there with him. Presentation of EMP, let's just say it that way. I guess I was wondering, well, if he's been doing this all these years, why do you need to set up a whole different thing? And it isn't that it's so different, maybe it's just, I don't know. See, why would you have to do it when he's already been doing it all this time?
Maybe I should just stop.
No, you should definitely do what you're doing.
Okay.
Because it'll be presented to those that would not have been able to hear it, which is obvious. when you try to talk about what if I try to talk about this, I mean, I can do a quick, it's the evolution of consciousness and getting, really intimate with nature, hearing it, feeling it, knowing it more deeply, as well as our own animal nature and our psyche, and just the consciousness that we are, but we got cut off from, my words, and we are awakening. It is a time now, I believe, of the awakening of the consciousness that we have always been, but we were like hypnotized. So we can awaken the dream. That's what someone puts. So anyway, so my question about, I presume that your presentations and ability to communicate this in this way will hopefully short and sweeten it, it isn't going to be short, but I mean, it'll be, just let me say it that way, a lot shorter and sweeter than 6 years of trying to figure out what he's saying and talking about. I mean, like, I'm sorry, because obviously I think I have the big picture, but as far as, and also what was helpful, jumping back to your talk with...
Can I put this on you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's see, so what was his name that I said I watched? His
Nick.
name?
Nicholas.
Nick, okay, Nicholas. I've lost it now, but I don't know, I hope it comes back. But
You said that you have you believe that you have the big picture, and I am inclined to agree with you.
Okay.
And you were talking about 6 years of trying to learn how to do, trying, you were basically, the way I heard it is that you were asking for a synthesis.
An understandable synthesis for anybody that's even got a clue and got an urge to even ask, and because they want to know.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the good news is that I'm very good at synthesizing things, I believe.
Oh, good.
The bad news is that we run into this phenomena that is, I've learned to refer to it as computational irreducibility. So
Okay, yeah,
you
the
run
bottom
you
line.
run into bedrock, so to speak.
The bottom line, yeah.
It's like, okay, I can't reduce it anymore. I can't synthesize it anymore.
Right.
I'm to the fundament. Okay, and yet, there's more to know. There's more to learn. Well, how do you do that? Only through the body. So that's where the movement part really comes into play. Is that it's a very carefully crafted system or ecology of games and movement. So the incorporation of games, movement, along with the higher order cognitive function. That's the necessity of the place of practice. So it can't be only so much, like I can only give clues at range, so to speak. You got to come play if you really want to know. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So then the second thing that I was hoping to talk with you about, or hear a little bit from you. So one of the unique how do I say this? I was afforded such wealth, it feels like, in terms of opportunities to explore as a consequence of simply being born into your life. So I walk in the door over here, for example, and you've got, I chuckle when I go by the bookshelf by the door, because it goes Mainspring of Human Progress, Autobiography of a Yogi. Then there's a bunch of books about nature observation, bird song, and a bunch of all this stuff. And then there's stuff on astronomy, and there's
Indian medicine
there's
wheel.
probably a lifetime's supply of stuff to study just inside the front door. And I just grew up in that. I just took it for granted. I didn't know any better. It's so delightful. So anyway, and then on top of that, I learned, or simply through osmosis, probably, I watched the two of you bring people here and take them through courses of study in a participatory manner. So I would, if there's any reflections that seem pertinent there, because essentially what I'm saying is that I believe that you did for many people what it is that you're seeing me just start to get into in my life. So my life so far has largely been taking what's on offer, the not recreating it, which is what you were saying before. If Rafe's already done it, why can't you just do what he's doing? Well, that is what I've been doing, except not Rafe stuff. Like, I can't get to the bottom of what Rafe and Kyle Koch and Aaron Cantor, those are the three core members of the phenomena that is evolve, move, play. Like each one of those characters is so deep. Like, I'll never get to the bottom of any one of them, let alone all three of them. Nonetheless, there's an opportunity to expand the offering, so to speak, provide more paths into that abundance exploration of what I'll simply refer to as the mystery of life itself. So what I would love to hear from you, if you've got any thoughts or comments to share about what you were doing and continue to do to some extent in the practices, in the studies that you have offered and continue to offer others here.
What I have done,
like with June's stuff,
Yeah,
and many others.
Yeah. So you want me to elaborate?
Did you ever do any synthesis? Did you do that for people?
Synthesis?
Yeah. So to make it's the same. It's a perennial problem. It's how do you begin to present and afford others the opportunity to.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So first of all, you find the key, which would be meditation, to have the person experiential,
Yeah.
how to open the door at all. And then once you have that, then I would just tell about different things that I had found that were interesting to me.
So how about pick one? Is there a
How
most
about what?
interesting? Pick one out of all of the things that have been interesting to you.
Okay.
Is there one that stands out right now?
Well, let's see, by which author? Let's see. Right now, Eckhart Tolle now I'm so appreciating his presentation of the same, Joel Goldsmith, and Deepak Chopra with all of his expansion, in his way. He's not been the primary one for me. But I mean, there isn't really, the primary thing is the meditation.
Yeah.
And so whatever I've come across that elaborates and spoke to me, then I would share it at Monday school, So the list is pretty long by now. I have, sign-in book downstairs and, notes. So I would just push the button. We listen and then we could discuss, but we always do meditation to start. And complete is my pattern is my preference. Open it and close it that way. And, and I'm very, very grateful to have the little bit of experience and facilitation ability, anybody can, the somato-emotional insight process. That's my latest thing. If you really want the rubber to hit the road and you're willing to take the ride in there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I need to take myself there, for sure.
Do you find that you can do that yourself, or do you need a facilitator?
Well, I'd be helpful to have someone do that with me.
Is that something that do you have someone now that you're working with to do that?
Not really, no. Well, I haven't, no. No, I don't. Not that I feel it would be what I'm really looking for with that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a delicate one, it seems.
Yeah, I do the attempt with myself. Okay, you got this mind going nuts, it's not helpful. Okay, so that's just a superficial thing now. What does that feel like, Mary? So, but yeah, it'd be nice to have somebody to do that. I could, yeah, I'll have to think about Sue maybe.
Okay.
Sue Bilka.
So, in the interest of time, what I want to do is just introduce this text, and maybe I'll let you, we can play a little game right now. Like, you can just pick a page, and then I'll read whatever the passage is, so that there's enough context, and then we'll just call it good
Sure.
for today.
You want me to just open it to any pick? Oh,
I do.
Oh,
So
okay.
so let me introduce it and say that this is the exuberant animal. And the subtitle is The Power of Health, Play, and Joyful Movement by Frank Ferencich. I'm probably mispronouncing that. And then there's an endorsement here by Robert Sapolsky, another contemporary author who I deeply enjoy and appreciate. And Mr. Sapolsky says, Frank is a superb writer. His voice is clear, accurate, and accessible. So go ahead and pick a page, any page, and we'll see what happens.
And I read to you the page, and then or is that what you're saying?
If you want to read it, or I'll read it.
Oh, okay.
So this is page 155. And it says, inquiring bodies want to know. According to legend, reporters once asked Albert Einstein if there was a single crucial question that modern scientists needed to ask. Perhaps they expected a question about relativity or the unified theory of physics. If so, they must have been surprised when he answered yes. That question is the universe friendly? This question lives on as a koan for human existence on a small planet, a question that we might do well to ask on a regular basis. Amazingly, it also mirrors a similar question that the body asks continuously throughout life. When faced with the predicament of life in a dynamic and sometimes dangerous environment, the body wants to know, is it safe? And the answer is no.
It's not safe.
Still worth it, though.